Good evening. Welcome to the Celtic Way evening briefing live, because it's not the morning briefing live, it's the evening briefing live. I'm Tony Haggerty at a Haggerty10 on a Twitter handle, as you know, and I'm joined this evening, and I'm glad to be joined this evening by Ryan McGinlay at the Ryan McGinlay. Now, every Celtic supporter was glued to their computers, TV sets, whatever mobile device they had, tablet, you name it, to hear Brendan Rodgers speak for the first time, give his first major press conference as a Celtic manager on his return to paradise. Ryan, your first takeaway from it, your first thoughts, how do you think he spoke?
Yeah, much like last time or much like yesterday's sort of interview that he did rather, he was really impressive. He came across really humble and eager to get started, which was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I thought he dealt with every question really well. He was humble. He didn't come across as arrogant or anything like that. He acknowledged the fact that he was successful in the past, but the past is in the past, and he's very much here for the future, with a guarantee as well that he will be here for at least 3 years. We will see if we can hold him to that. We've been stung before, but at the same time, I'll take those words. 3 years, 3 more years of Brendan Rodgers sounds good to me. I don't know about you, but it sounds good to me on this Friday night.
Love that answer that he gave to that question. I'll be here for 3 years unless I'm emptied, as the two protagonists are sitting beside him, Peter Lawwell and Michael Nicholson. No pressure on them, but I thought it was that answer was great. A wee bit more humour from Brendan Rodgers, and he also said, someone asked him about jousting with Rangers for the title, and first thing he said was yes, and jousting with the media. So so he's clearly been well versed and briefed, and obviously he'll know a few of the media personalities and, I dare say, celebrities from the media from his time previous. I was going to include myself in that, but I don't mean that in the kind of way that it comes across. But I will see him at some point, and I look forward to seeing him again and jousting with him, as he says. But yeah, I thought he came across perfectly well, Ryan. I agree with yourself. I thought there was a lot of humility there as well, and he also addressed the big question that everybody wanted to know about leaving the first time. And he said he left for, obviously, he's no regrets about leaving. He did it for himself because that was what he wanted, which is fair enough. But he also kind of said that he regrets the fact that he caused a lot of hurt to Celtic supporters. And I would imagine by that he means the greater Celtic family at large, but also people within his own family. He probably caused a lot of hurt to them, and maybe he fell out with a couple, or a couple of people fell out with him. So I'm glad he addressed it. I'm glad he addressed it in the way he did. He spoke about not getting too emotional with words, and basically, I think he just wants to get right down to it, doesn't he? Just get started.
Yeah, straight down to business. He looks as if he's in a real serious mood. He was happy to be there. He was happy to be back. Sort of talked about his experiences in the past, but very much it is a job for now. All things that happened in the past are now firmly there. It's now about the present and the future. The talks about recruitment. He was talking about the fact that it's a really strong squad, and if Celtic do bring people in, or they do bring players in, they'll be there to strengthen the squad, not to make up the numbers. That's what you want to hear as a Celtic fan.
Yeah.
And writing about Celtic as well, you want to see that Celtic are doing their best off the pitch and on the pitch. There's a lot of mention about Europe as well.
I was going to say that didn't shy away from that, Ryan. We spoke about it this morning. We've been speaking about it since he came in. He's not here to win League Cups or Scottish Cups. He's here to win the title. But yeah, but he's here to also, he's got eyes in Europe, and even Michael Nicholson's eyes kind of lit up when he's talking about Europe. Every time it kind of cut to the side shot, Michael Nicholson was just nodding his head in kind of agreement and kind of purring with excitement at the thought that they have landed their number one managerial target. This is the man to take Celtic into Europe, and they're firmly behind him and they believe in him.
I'm very glad that you mentioned that, because I noticed it as well when that camera angle. get you somebody that looks at you the way Michael Nicholson looks at Brendan Rodgers. Honestly, it was a great shot, and he was just nodding in agreement with whatever Brendan Rodgers said. He's just a master. He's an absolute master at these press conference situations. He knows exactly what to say. He knows the tone to say it, and Yeah, it was 18, 19 minutes worth. It could have went on for double that, and I wouldn't have been bored. I enjoyed the address he had to the support
Yeah.
and the journalists that were in the room. I'm looking forward to hearing what he had to say to the fans as well later on.
That was another thing as well for myself, Ryan. I thought it was quite short. I expected to be there a lot longer. And also, so fine, that's fair enough. But I mean, I think he said enough, and I think he came across very, very well. And it's like it's it's an old new manager, isn't it? We're familiar with him, so I think we're kind of in wouldn't say like a comfort zone, but we're comfortable with them. I think a lot of Celtic supporters are comfortable after that first address. There's a few comments coming in, Ryan, so we'll flick them up. Glad of you to join us, guys. Thanks for your contributions as well, and good evening. And I hope you enjoyed that as much as myself and Ryan did. And I want to flick up your thoughts on it as well. So I've starred a few. Michael Ross, good evening, Michael. How you doing? Wish him well. I'll back him 100% now that he's back. Hopefully he is not emptied. Laughing emojis, says Michael. Yeah, I thought that was a great line. I really thought he dealt with that really well. Ewan Boy Martin, hail, hail. Really good press conference. Brendan said all the right things. I'm 100% behind him. Let's get to work. Those 4 words, Ryan. Let's get to work. He just kind of had that demeanour of a man who was determined to get to work. Hail, hail, all, says Sean Buist. Good. Hail, hail to you, Sean. Good evening. Good evening, Kieran Lynch. How you doing? Was really impressed with the way he handled the press conference. Even better to meet him beforehand too. Oh, lucky you, Caden. Nice one. I hope that made your night. Nice one. That's great. Jonathan Brown. He said he'd only go if he was booted, which is good for me. Yeah, I think lots of people, as you said, Ryan, 3 years of Brendan Rodgers, we can put up with, can't we? Sean Bruce coming in saying 100% with the boss now. It's time to kick on. Excellent. I think it is as well. David Hughes comes in morning, evening. David, I'll try and get that right. Evening.
We're used to saying
Yeah,
morning. It's muscle memory.
Yeah. Hi guys, I thought it came across as very humble and grateful to be back in the door. I'm excited for the season ahead. You're not alone, David. I think we all are. Hazel Finn, evening Hazel, how are you? Regular contributor as well in the comment section. Liked his honesty, but having no regrets, but regretting the upset to the fans. Honest, you can't ask for more than that. It's his job after all. Good interview. And I think that as well, Ryan, as well, he said that he acknowledged the hurt and upset that he caused a lot of fans. You could easily have swept that aside and not mentioned it at all, but he's cognizant of it, very aware, and I guess he knew he had to address that in some shape or form, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with everything you've said there. I'm glad he addressed it in that way because I think it's an answer that will encompass all the sort of opinions that are going on about Brendan Rodgers just now. People that are already on the boat, they're on the Brendan bus again, as people are calling it. If they are on that, then they'll stay on that with comments like that. But people who aren't necessarily on that, who are annoyed that he is back, or they're miffed with the whole situation, with the fact that he left us and now he's back in that position again. I think that'll help, having a sort of heartfelt apology. It wasn't too cheesy. There's a way that he can come across that it does sound cheesy, but I think he got the balance spot on with that. The fact that he mentioned his family as well, mentioned that his family's happy to be back up in Glasgow. They're going to have good experiences. They're going to have a good time up here. I like hearing stuff like that from the manager. It seems like a guy that doesn't want to go anywhere fast. It seems like he's here for the long haul, which is important. And I think Michael Nicholson and Peter Lawwell want to hear that as well. It seems as if those bridges have been rebuilt. That wouldn't have taken the one day. That would have taken multiple meetings. But it looks as if they're all pulling the same way, especially Michael Nicholson and Brendan Rodgers. The two of them looked like they really had a good relationship. And hearing about that relationship between Mark Lawwell and Brendan Rodgers was entertaining as well and very pleasing. And you're just hoping that comes to fruition with regards to who we sign in the transfer window.
Tell you what else I also like, Ryan, the words, I'm ambitious, but I'm ambitious for Celtic. I want them to be the best they can be. Now, read into that what you will. He's been in this movie before. He knows why he left the first time. That maybe that lack of ambition with a man that was sitting in his right hand side, and with all the stories that came about round about then. But so I was really encouraged by those words. I'm ambitious, but I'm ambitious for Celtic and I want them to be the best they can be. And as Michael Nicholson sat there like the cat that got the cream, you kind of, as you say, that they seem to be in unison, singing from the same hymn sheet, that united front that Callum McGregor was talking about, and onwards and upwards. Let's do it. Let's go to work and let's see where it takes us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really impressed with how the whole thing went along. I've got to say when Peter Lawwell only spoke for the one time, I was like, are you struggling to say what you're trying to say here? There was a couple of wee stutters. I know all about that. You get stutters when you talk in public and in person. So, but he was saying it was the right appointment. He was the best candidate for the job. As long as that's the case and there was a thorough interview process and the best manager got the job, and that is the main thing. 7 trophies out of 7. I'll keep on mentioning it until that record is broken. But
A
he's won
magnificent
every.
7.
It is an absolute magnificent 7. I'll take him for another magnificent 7 years if that's the case. You know, if he keeps that record up. But yeah, a lot to be excited about. I liked his humour with the media. He said he's looking forward to taking on the media. You know, he's that sort of guy. He's going to be the front. He's basically going to be the front of the defence for the club in that media setting, which is what you want to see. It shows you that he's all up for it. He's up for the challenge. He's up for taking on
Can't wait for
the
that, Ryan.
journalists. Yeah,
Can't wait
I
for
think
that.
as much as we did enjoy Ange Postecoglou's press conferences, Rodgers ones are different, and they're different in a good way as well, because he does tell. I think he tells you a lot more in press conferences than what his predecessor would, because
You learn.
yeah, you do learn a bit when you listen to Brendan Rodgers, when you listen to what he has to say. Postecoglou kept his cards very close to his chest with regards to what was going on. But with Brendan, you'll learn a couple of things, and that's really interesting going forward when listening to these. I just hope that they have the full press conferences like they did with Postecoglou, so that we can enjoy them at the end of the week.
Yeah. Big thanks. 131 people joining us live right now, Ryan. Thank you guys for coming on. We really appreciate it, and I'll try and get through your comments as we're going along here. Kyogo's Plimsoll's great name. Nicholson spoke well too. Good at his job, that fella. Yep, we've bigged him up a few times, haven't we? Alexander McGill, let's get it started. He was also very apologetic as well. And if I was a board, I'd start looking at candidates, or what would be candidates now. Takes a big man to admit that. I tell you, fair enough. He admitted that, so that's great. Sean Gregg, the close season is going to drag in even longer now, and the boys, I'm so excited for the new season. On the hoops, hail. Indeed, Sean. Isaac McQuaid said, I thought he came across very well. He is raring to get down to business. You're saying that as well. And Alistair Jack, evening, Alistair, how you doing? He was glad there was no over-the-top stuff. Well done, Brendan. And Ewan Boy Martin coming in again, saying he liked the fact that Brendan said he will only sign quality players to make the team better, meaning starters, not bench warmers. You picked up on that, didn't you? We both picked up on that. You've mentioned that already. Danny Kennedy, evening, Danny, how are you? Welcome back, Brendan. Glad to see you back. And Anthony Holmes saying, good press conference. Hopefully we'll keep adding quality. Got to get behind Brendan now. And Happy Suicidal saying, Brendan has nerves of steel to answer the awkward questions so smoothly. He did as well. And Tim and on, Rodgers played it well in a press conference. Couldn't agree more. Jonathan Brown, evening Jonathan, thought Brendan's wisdom with words came to the fore again. I did say listen to Ange Postecoglou, but I would say listen more intently to Brendan Rodgers, because he's an uncanny knack of saying the right things, and you do learn, and that's a gift, I think, that he has people eating out the palm of his hand. Certainly has Michael Nicholson eating out the palm of his hand, doesn't he? And you will learn a lot if you just kind of, again, open your ears and listen, and you'll learn a lot about football too. No, not saying, and I learned a lot from Ange, but as you say, I'll be learning in a different manner, in a different style this time under Brendan. I look forward to, let's say, jousting with him, but I look forward to going to see him and picking his brain, picking that football brain, Ryan, that is clearly huge, and there's a lot of knowledge in there.
Yeah, he's Brendan the Bard, doesn't he? The wordsmith. He's definitely a wordsmith. He knows how to tug in the heartstrings as well with some of the stuff that he says. He's definitely a very educated man when it comes to his responses and all the. I think it's very genuine. I think the genuineness of the press conference really came through today. That 18, 19 minutes of him speaking. it really, because you've got to find a line. Like I said before, it could have came across really, really cheesy and forced, but I thought it was really natural. The statements that he was making were genuine from what I could see anyway, and or what I could hear. And as long as that's the case, and as long as he's all on board, then I'm more than happy to have him as the Celtic manager. I mean, I'm taking his word for it that he's here for 3 years at least. He didn't exactly say that he'd be here for more than 3 years as well. He didn't rule it out. I was saying he said that there was
Said
we'll
we'll
see where
look
we
at
are.
it after that. Yeah, that's what he said. Said I'm here for 3 years and we'll look at it after that. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where Celtic will be in 3 years' time,
Yes.
if that is the case. If he's got his full imprint on the team, who knows where we will be in 3 years, or the sort of team that we will have in front of us. But it's definitely something to really look forward to. Today was a really momentous day. The way he addressed the media, he addressed the supporters, and I think the vast majority of detractors will now be on his side. With the words that he said, I know it won't take just that, but that words like that go a long way to healing what happened 4 years ago. Time is a healer, and you know, at the end of the day, we all want Celtic to do well. I mean, we all want Celtic to push forward. Brendan Rodgers is the best man to do that, and the best man to bring us forward with this current side. So I think we'll all be pulling in the one direction very, very soon.
He said as well that to all the doubters, he's had that all his career. So he'll do his best, his level best, to bring an attacking team, win football matches, and get them back on board and on side. That's all you can ask. Tim and on, time to get behind the club, no matter who's in charge, board players, and more importantly, the fans. And drop with Dano on GFN. Brilliant presser from Rodgers, humble, passionate, at times genuinely funny, buzzing for games to start already. Picked up on that as well. Myself and
19th
Ryan.
of July.
Yep. Somebody's ticking the boxes.
Oh, I'm crossing the boxes.
Get your own
Give me that.
summer advent calendar, have you? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
give me
boxes.
that. Give me that friendly against Yokohama F Marinos right now. It's so exciting, but this is the exciting part before the season. I know it can really drag in, but we're going to be linked with a whole host of players. We've already got Odin Holm, who I spoke to a Norwegian expert earlier today. The video's on the channel. Very, very exciting prospect in the medium and long term, I would say. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to who else Celtic can recruit. And yeah, we're not going to make up the numbers. That's what he was saying. We're not making up the numbers. We're Celtic are going to sign players that are going to improve the first team. So let's see where we are in a couple of weeks' time with regards to what players we've brought in.
I tweeted at the time, Ryan, that the Rodgers return was a box office managerial appointment and Celtic mean business. I've no doubts that having watched that today and having watched Michael Nicholson's reaction as well, that they certainly do. Now is the time to back the team and back the manager. A united Celtic is unstoppable. I think you'll find I used those words in my newsletter that went out yesterday and is on the site today. If you want to have a look at that, guys, please do it. And if you want to go on the site, you will have, if you didn't see the press conference, the full press conference Q&A in full is on the website. I'll put the link to this up if you want to just go through it question by question. Myself and young Ryan here did the transcription and have put it up for you to see. I'll put that in the links comment section there. There's a link to that, and you can peruse that at your whenever you want. There it is. It's appeared there. You can have a look at that and see what he said to every question. So Eileen Feeks, hello Eileen, how you doing? Enjoy Brendan Rodgers press conference. Exciting times ahead. And Michael Ross is saying great show earlier, Ryan, with the
Thank you very much, Michael.
Journalist talking about Odin and
Odin
Jonathan Brown. Odin Holm. More excited about Rogers Mark II than Rogers Mark I. And Jerry O'Rourke saying, let's just celebrate a brilliant manager. I think we're all in kind of celebratory mode about a brilliant manager. I don't think anybody can deny that we have the best candidate and manager in situ. And they are exciting. We'll try to keep the rain on it, Ryan, as they say. But Steve McGrory coming in. Morning, Steve. I keep getting that. Evening, Steve. How are you? don't know why people were surprised at Peter Law being there today when Andrews and Vale, Ian Banky and Don Mackay were in attendance. No big deal and consistent with precedent set then. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Peter Law was there, to be fair. So
He's a chairman. He's got to be there.
It's not a big deal for me. It's not a big issue, and don't see why it would become a big issue. He said his bit, and he let the two others take centre stage when they were asked questions. Brendan being the one who took, obviously, the centre stage, but Michael Nicholson came across very well. He just, as you say, he just came across really excited, didn't he? And just kind of like, yep, I think we've got this one spot on. Pleased with myself. I'd like to think that if he could pat himself on the back, he would have sat there like that. Sure, that you know what I mean. So it's a job well done. Both Michael Nicholson and Dermot Desmond deserve enormous credit for persuading Brendan Rodgers to come back to Celtic for a second spell, and also Brendan deserves credit for wanting to come back. And he said it himself, he wanted to come back. The timing was right, and he's back to make Celtic a force again. Domestically, they're sweeping the boards, but he wants to make them a force in European football again. They didn't shy away from that, which I also liked.
Yeah, he wants to have the bread and butter of the domestic game, which you mentioned, but he also wants the caviar in Europe. I would say they're the two. He wants the starters, the domestic game, and the main course is Europe for him. It seems seems to be his remit, and if that's the case, then we mentioned this earlier on today in the morning briefing that why would he come back if he wasn't going to get back to Europe?
Yeah,
like what he must have had certain assurances that he is going to get absolutely backed to take us forward in the Champions League next season, which I'm all for that because we spoke about it earlier. If you spend the money for these players, you will make it back in profits. So let's get these stars through the door that can really improve our team, and let's go on an all out campaign on Europe and see where it takes us under Brendan Rodgers. You know, it's just a really for a team that lost their manager last week, 2 weeks ago. The club is in a really happy place again. Now, if you were to have lost your treble winning manager 2 weeks ago, and for you to still be in a good place 2 weeks on, that really shows how well the board have done in appointing Brendan Rodgers again. We've got an elite level manager. He's back and he's willing to take us forward again.
We've got an elite level board as well, I think, Ryan. I think they learnt a lot of lessons from Eddie Howe, and even the swiftness of how they appointed Ange after Eddie Howe went pear-shaped after the kind of 100-day pursuit, and then Ange was in within a matter of days. You know, and that's been like a fortnight, more or less, since Ange decided he was leaving and Celtic brought in Brendan Rodgers. So I think you have to hand out praise where it's due, especially the Celtic board, and I think everybody is in tandem, and I think they are going to go all in on Brendan Rodgers and his assault on Europe, bearing in mind Celtic are a club that work within financial parameters, but if you can push that financial envelope to the nth degree for a club like Celtic in Europe, then yeah, I think the Brendan Rodgers seems like a man who can do something with that kind of backing. He's confident in his own ability to do something with the squad of players that he has, but also bring in what we spoke about there is first team ready players, isn't it? It's oven ready players, guys that can walk straight into that first team. And if you're bringing in guys that are walking straight into that first team, Ryan, you're bringing in a calibre of player, because the calibre of player that the club's got at the minute, there's some quality players there. And if you're bringing in guys who are not going to make up numbers and will walk straight into that team, that's exciting for any Celtic supporter. Just throw up a couple of comments again. Wagwan saying, I fully invested in back Brendan is a massive positive for Celtic as a club. Absolutely. Wagwan, agree with that. Just saying that there. Afternoon, lads. Stock Rodgers seemed very humble, quite emotional when talking about it. He regretted leaving. Didn't like the way he hurt people. Very humble. Let's back him. Can't agree more with these sentiments, guys. So, and also just the thought of what's to come. It's exciting. Michael Nicholson, just I go back to it with that constant shaking of the head, just knowing that he's fulfilled his remit in the summer by attracting the best possible candidate, which the Celtic board said they would do, and I think they've got that. Now, if they back the man, then he'll, as I say, have confidence on his own ability to work his magic, sprinkle that magic dust in that squad and enhance it, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about players that would come in. Now, projects for other teams could be very much star players for us.
Yeah.
You look at teams down south. They'll pay what, 8, 9, 10 million pounds for these players that maybe will get into their team for 2 or 3 years. If Celtic pay that on a player, yes, they can be a project, but they can also be a star in the team. That's just the way our model will go. There'll be a project for us, but there'll also be a starter for us. Then they go and we make profit off of that. That's the way the model should work for us.
Yes.
We're hoping that will be the case with our first signing in Odin Holm. Hopefully we get 3-4 years out of him. And then by the time he'll still only be 24 by the time that comes around, then you'll be able to sell him on to another club once he's had that experience. It was very interesting to talk to David today regarding Odin Holm. It seems as if a player, he was talking and saying that the player that he reminded him most in this Celtic team was Callum McGregor. Now, if Callum McGregor had 90, 100 appearances at Celtic at Odin Holm's age, then, we wouldn't have been complaining whatsoever. So I'm liking to hear this long-term sort of strategy coming into fruition. And I'm glad that they've been talking about this through the interviews and through the press conference. But it's good to see these methods in action. The fact that these players are coming through the door, and there'll be projects, but then they'll be sold on. It looks as if Brendan Rodgers is going to be backed this summer, and then maybe in the winter window as well, we might get a couple of players. But that's all he's asking for, and it seems as if he's in tandem with the recruitment board or the group of people that are involved with doing that. So, yeah, the club's in a really good place recruitment wise, and I can't wait to see the other players that we're linked with in the coming weeks and months.
Oh, there'll be plenty of them. You better believe it. Steve McGrory, hats off to the both of you for convening this podcast. Obviously, many of us want to talk about Brendan Rodgers' appointment, and we can't wait until Monday morning. Pleasure, Steve. We made a conscientious decision earlier in the afternoon that we were going to do this because we know people are desperate to talk about it and get their reaction to the first press conference. So we're just like yourself. We're as excited as MD. We're Celtic fans just like anybody else, and we love chatting with, and especially with this community that we're built on the Celtic way. We love it. It's you're knowledgeable, and I learn a lot as well from your guys' comments and just different ways, opinions and stuff. We don't throw our own down your throat. It's a lovely forum for people to come on and discuss, and in a friendly manner about all sorts of things, but everything related Celtic, and we enjoy it. So people say, what would you rather be doing on a Friday night? I don't think I'd rather be doing anything other than this, Ryan, at this moment in time, talking about
Celtic.
Okay,
talking about Celtic on a Friday. That sounds like something I would do anyway. So the fact that we're able to do this on a good
a Saturday, Sunday. So, Paul Byrne, how good was Michael Nicholson? By the way, yeah, we've spoke about that.
He's very impressed.
Yeah, he's back with a bang. I take it that's Brendan Rodgers. Kevin, evening, Kevin. How are you? Hazel Finn. More importantly, the board will have learnt lessons from when Brendan Rodgers left the last time. They are going to back him. That's for sure, Hazel. And Steve coming in and saying, I think he knows he's got some people to win over. For himself personally, he's already done it with that press conference. Hopefully he sticks to his words with the 3 years. Can't see him leaving again. We will see where we are 3 years' time, Ryan. See where we are.
He's given us a guarantee now. I don't know if I'm going to take him up on that offer. We've been stung before. We've had our collective hearts broken before from Brendan Rodgers 2.5 years into his tenure the first time around. So, I mean, he said it, he's put it out there, and it's out there in the public domain. If he goes back on that promise, then it's going to look even worse on him. So you've got to take it with the fact that he's talking about it.
There's Paul Byrne. I bet he wishes, didn't say he'll be here for 3 years, though. Must be a sweetener of financial loss if he does stay or go before then. We shall see. But yeah, he did say it. So again, you take people at their word, don't you, Ryan? Until they tell the truth, Tony. Otherwise, you had to go shop. That's the Friday night thing he's talking about Celtic. No, I've done my chores for today. I took my dogs out. My doggy. I've got new headphones because Paddy chewed my other ones. So, yeah.
Bosnian and Paddy.
Bosnian and Paddy. Going about the right way to seal a permanent deal and a forever home. Not, but hey, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm sure he's a quality addition to the squad, Ryan.
That's
That's
it.
four
He's a
dogs now.
he's a tenacious midfielder, as
Yes,
Bosnian and Paddy.
they're terrier, you know what I mean? They're terror more like that. There you have it. Now more comments coming in. All the clubs in the world get evaluated, and Celtic popped out second. Now that's amazing. Don't know what that's referring to, but hey, that's obviously a group chat.
Why didn't we win?
Correct.
You're sick of not winning in these big European contests.
Jessica Hardy. Evening, Jessica. How are you? Brilliant interview. Competent, apologetic, sincere. We just need to stick together and be behind Brennan and carry on the success. Hail, hail. Come on, you boys in green. You'll never walk alone. And Stevie coming back in. Been listening to Celtic Way for a few months now, lads. Got to say, very enjoyable listen, especially what with the headphones in. Credit to you all. That's very kind, Stevie. We appreciate that. We involve you all. We love just coming on and chewing the fat and talking about the club that everybody loves. But we love to give everybody their say, and we try and discuss as many points as we can, but get different points of view. We've got regular contributors. We thank everybody for their subscription, as you can see at the bottom. If you've not already taken out a subscription to the Celtic Way website, then do it. And you can help support top quality football journalism covering the club you love. Myself, Ryan there, and Aidan McDonald endeavour to provide that. It's all for a click of a button, guys. Get unlimited access to the website, everything that's written on there, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. I just think that people struggling just now, Ryan, without their diet of football and their football fix, but that'll tide them over to the weekend till we talk about it all again. I've never known a press conference to gather such kind of momentum and pace, and if lots of Celtic supporters were just heavily invested in what he was going to say today.
Yeah, 14,000 I think was the number that I saw were watching the stream at the one time Celtic stream. Now I know that there was two streams going on, one with Sky Sports and one with Celtic. So you combine that, I mean, on a Friday afternoon, it really does show you the pool that Brendan Rodgers has. It's just the name, it's the elite, that elite name, and the fact it's got anything to do with Celtic. People will watch whatever it is to do with Celtic. Anytime, any place, wherever Celtic are, then people will come and gather, and you know that's a really great thing. It's a great community, and it's just the popularity seems through the roof for a team that lost their manager. I know I made this point earlier, but for a team that's just lost their manager, their treble-winning manager, to be coming out of it in arguably an even stronger place, that's unheard of. So the fact that Brendan Rodgers has come back and he'll be given a big chest of money to sort of work with, that bodes well for us and not so well for everybody else.
Again, you big up the board, Dermot Desmond, and
you've got to
Michael Nicholson for acting so swiftly and not letting that feeling linger. Having lost Ange, I said they had their number one candidate all along, and they went out and their kind of public persona, as Michael Nicholson said, to say the worst kept secret in football that they had lunch with Brendan Rodgers in Mallorca. They took the private jet, part of the courtship of Brendan again, and little touches like that, Ryan, can seal deals. You mean business? Talk to me. What do you see? What do you envisage for Celtic? I'll tell you what I envisage for Celtic, i.e. Brendan Rodgers obviously put his case forward. Michael Nicholson, on behalf of Dermot Desmond and the club, put their case forward, and the two of them kind of married in unison. And it's these things matter. You know, when you're identifying targets, the way you go about it, your public wooing of someone, they matter to people. You know, clearly matter to Brendan Rodgers that they actually took time out to go to his house in Mallorca in the private jet. And I think things like that can help, as I say, get signatures on contracts, Ryan.
Yeah, if you go the extra mile, then you'll get better results a lot of the time. It's good that Celtic are putting that, Celtic and their board, respectively. The board have really impressed me over the past couple of years with the way they've dealt with their business. They've dealt with some really sensitive issues quite well, and they've got their two appointments spot on. Now, you look 2 years ago, Postecoglou was an inspired appointment. Yes, there was an element of luck with regards to the City Group links, but at the same time, you still got to appoint these people, and they did, and they done that, and they did that well. Now, Michael Nicholson, his first major appointment as a manager is Brendan Rodgers. I can't think of many better first appointments than Brendan Rodgers. He was clear. He knew what he wanted. Dermot Desmond knew what they wanted, and they went out and got it, and they made sure that deal was going to happen. This was a guy that was going to take a year off, but the offer was that good from Celtic, and the assurances were that great and so clear that he chose to give up a year out of the game to come back and join Celtic. I think that speaks volumes on what is happening here. I think we're entering a really, really good time.
Do you know what I love about Michael Nicholson? The fact that he doesn't speak, and then when he does speak, he comes across so well, but he only speaks when he has to, like at AGMs and the unveiling of a manager. The rest of the time, he's like, I do what I do in the business, but I leave the football men to run the football side of it. They come to me with players, a list of players, and I say, I'll do what I do to get those deals over the line. And it's clear that he did it with Ange, and now he's clearly going to do it with Brendan Rodgers again. And the targets are being whittled through as we speak. And I think that you can't ask anything more from someone like Michael Nicholson in that position. That he's very impressive, and he doesn't speak a lot, So and I think that's what Celtic supporters admire most about him as well. As you say, they've managed to persuade a man who was taking a break, or supposedly taking a break. Robert Baker's making that point. He's had a break for a while, so Brendan is rebuilding himself again. We spoke about that, didn't we? That he rebuilt his career the first time round. Now he's trying to rebuild it again in terms of taking Celtic to that, I keep calling it the famed next level, but you know what I mean. That next level that everybody wants for the club. Michael Nicholson, Dermot Desmond, Peter Law included, ourselves. Michael Ross, big feel-good factor today, one big Celtic family. Happy family at that, Ryan, after today, I would conjecture.
Yeah, a family that was kind of torn apart almost 4 years ago. That relationship, it seems as if he has returned. Brendan Rodgers has returned after 4 years away, and he's very well. There's so many stories that you could liken that to, but I think you just got to take it seriously as well and say he's back, and he's back, and he's wanting to get down to business. He's wanting to take us further in Europe, and he seems hungry as well. Now he could have came back and just taken the paycheck and just won titles in the odd domestic cup and be happy with that. No, he wants more than that. He wants Europe. He wants to make us a force in Europe. He wants to make us this bogey team that no one wants to play. He wants to make Celtic Park a fortress in Europe again. And I don't know about you, but I'm willing to give him that chance again.
Oh, without a doubt. He wants to make Celtic the entity that he thinks it should be, that Michael Nicholson thinks it should be, and certainly Dermot Desmond thinks it should be. So I'm all on board with that. Hazel Finn making a great comment here. Like the fact that Brendan mentioned how important that background staff were to him. She thinks that they'll work well. He did mention that, and he mentioned John Kennedy being a big part of that. Stevie Woods as well got a mention, goalkeeping coach, but there's others there like Gavin Strachan as well. So that continuity there, Ryan, that cannot be underestimated. And the vital knowledge that they will provide about the current set of players to Brendan. He'll know them anyway, but they will certainly give him more food for thought, more ammunition, and something to get his teeth into as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Continuity in all levels, it seems, from the coaching staff to, as I've probably said the word recruitment about 20 times and during the course of this this recording, but it's so important, continuity. I'm so glad that we're now shopping in the areas, or we're continuing to shop in the areas that we were under Postecoglou. You even saw last night we were linked with 2 more South Korean players. So that's great. That continuity's there. The continuity's there in the backroom staff as well. I did write a couple of weeks ago saying that Celtic should let John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan, etc. They should let them leave. But I'm okay with them staying. If it's Brendan Rodgers, if Brendan Rodgers genuinely wants them there, and they are so important to the way that he works and the way that he operates, and they're vital to the success that he's aiming to bring to the club, then I'm all for them to stay. Especially John Kennedy, because his loyalty can never ever be questioned.
Yep, correct.
And Stevie Woods as well. I've actually got to mention Stevie Woods and that loyalty as well, because the two of them have been two peas in a pod, basically. They've never left. And you know, I think they're two very underrated members of Celtic that should be talked about more, especially because their loyalty should be celebrated.
Anything else strike you, Ryan, from his words of wisdom?
I'm trying to just think back. I just think there was some funny moments when he's talking about going at the media. That, to me, and I've talked about it before, but that shows that the hunger's there. He could have just easily just brushed off comments like that, but no, he's making them. He's saying that he is the man in this situation. He is going to be the boss from now on. There was a boss before him in Postecoglou, but there's certainly going to be a boss after Postecoglou and Rodgers. And yeah, I'm counting down to the team coming back for training, never mind the first pre-season friendly. It's just that excitement of the treble that was maybe had a shadow over it, as we spoke about earlier on. There was a shadow on it because of the impending moves that you saw that storm cloud coming from about a mile away, and the fact that Postecoglou didn't refute those claims said to me that it was on the horizon. But it seems as if that feel good factor that was there after the title win is now back because Brendan Rodgers is here. It's a continuation of the two, and that should lead us on straight into pre-season. So I'm delighted that is the case, and you know, it's definitely that Friday. You couldn't get much of a better Friday feeling than Celtic officially unveiling Brendan Rodgers after 4 years away. It's a great time to be a Celtic supporter for sure.
AGSC Tech, second time around, Rodgers is better and Celtic are better. It's a great union.
That's just one more thing. That's what he did say. I am a better manager than 4 years ago. That should strike fear into every single opposition team that we come up against next season, both in Europe and domestically. I think comments like that, again, they show his hunger, and they show that he's grown from his experiences down south. We've spoke about this. The fact that he comes up against, he came across these European level teams every 2 weeks down in the Premier League. That's just the quality of that league now. Yes, I know there are some not so good teams down there, but you take your Man City's, Man United's, Arsenal. If you're playing them every 3-4 weeks, then you're going to learn more as a manager. We're getting the best version of Brendan Rodgers, and I'm looking forward to seeing that in action next season.
Which is why I can't wait to pick his brain, Ryan, because there's that knowledge and expertise of going up against some of the world's best managers, some of the world's best players, and the world's best teams. You know, so he's been there, seen it, and done it, and I think he can convey that. And there's lots of stuff that you want to ask him to convey that, how it feels to be doing that, and give me this Brendan Rodgers Mark II any day of the week. I'm excited to see what he's learned and also what he's going to teach me as well as a journalist, and my kind of expanding my knowledge of the game, football in general, which you're always open to doing that. I'm always open to that, and I just think that certain people have a gift. I thought Ange had a gift as well. You expand your football palette, but the first time Brendan Rodgers was there, I always left, whenever I sat in front of him, always left more knowledgeable. I know that's hard to imagine, Ryan. There you go. But hey,
love that.
There's a lot of vacuous space in this head of mine. But yeah, I always kind of I speak when I need to speak to these guys. I usually kind of open them and button that. But when it comes along to my turn or whatever, I'm not shy in coming forward that way, because I'm always eager and willing to learn. And you can only learn off the best, can't you? And I think it's fair to say that Brendan Rodgers is one of the best and elite level managers out there. So I'll be hanging on to a lot of his words in terms of my own wisdom and seeing what I can pick up from him. Now that's 45 minutes there, Ryan. Should we end on Mikey C's comment? A beautiful, beautiful press conference.
I read that in his voice too. See when you
everybody read it in his voice. Yeah, but I think that's a wonderful way to end the broadcast, isn't it? A beautiful, beautiful press conference. Guys, thank you so much. Over 200 people joining us for an evening session talking about Brendan Rodgers' first press conference and official unveiling as Celtic manager. Really appreciate the comments and the fact that you've taken time out your busy schedules and weekend, shall we say, to join the two of us. Appreciate that. Hazel Finn saying thank you for running our Celtic fix today, Tony Ryan. Our pleasure. Pleasure's ours, believe me, honestly. It really is. CJ7, Brendan is top class. And so enjoy your weekend, guys. I hope the press conference is everything and more that you hoped it would be. Hope Brendan has warmed the cockles of your hearts and made you eager to hear him more and speak more and see what happens as we move along. And future's bright, certainly for Celtic. Michael Ross, a podcast of great character. I think that's another Brendanism, isn't it, Ryan?
Definitely is. So? Yes. Again, I read that in his very distinguishable voice.
Indeed. Sons of Scotland saying, keep going, Tony. I've just got here. Nah, come on now. What time is it? Well, it's nearly 7 o'clock. There you go.
That's it.
But yeah, it was a joy to watch that today, actually. I think everybody was intrigued as to what he was going to say. He was humorous. He said he'll be here for 3 years unless he's emptied. He's no regrets about leaving. He did it for himself, but he was very mindful that he'd hurt a lot of Celtic supporters in the process. He talked about the backroom team being important to him. John Kennedy, Stevie Woods and Gavin Strachan. And he also spoke about making inroads in Europe. All the tick boxes, Ryan. Yeah, all ticked for you, certainly. From
so far.
Proof in the pudding. We'll always say, it's no saying it, it's doing it. He did it the first time round, Ryan, a magnificent 7 out of 7. Can he do it again? We'll always strapping ourselves in because we're all here for that ride, aren't we?
We certainly are. A magnificent 7, a fantastic 14. That would do me. But I would hope instead of 7, I would hope it's 9. If it's 3 years and 3, although I'll give and take. If we get a European trophy, I'll take that as well.
Not asking for much. CJ7, great feeling for the season ahead. We have the right man in a job. You'd best believe it that we have the right man for the job. Michael Ross, hail, my fellow Celts. Enjoy your weekend. Exactly, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Ryan, loved your company twice today. Excellent stuff. And if you haven't subscribed already, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm going to say. There's a strapline running along the bottom. Why not take out a subscription to the Celtic Way and you can help support top quality journalism, covering the club you love in the process. Myself, Ryan and Aidan endeavour to provide that, as we say. And it's all for a click of a button. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Thank you for your company tonight. Really enjoyed that. Thanks, Ryan, as well. We'll see you all again on Monday. We'll talk about it all again on Monday. You know that anyway. That's the drill. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Take care. All the best.